If you're getting a little older but still carrying, or you're helping a parent or grandparent find a gun they can actually live with, you already know this. Some pistols feel like they're fighting you harder than they'd ever fight a threat. Achy wrists, tired fingers, stiff joints, or just being sick of getting smacked around by recoil at the range. All that stuff is real, even if the internet tough guys pretend it's not. So in this video, we're going to walk through the easiest shooting carry guns you can get in 2025, the ones that are actually friendly to weak hands, slower reflexes, and sensitive joints, without giving up the power you need to protect yourself. We'll be talking about soft shooting calibers, slides that rack like they are on easy mode, and designs that let you load and run the gun without a wrestling match. By the end, you'll have a clear list of options that are gentle on your hands but still serious when it matters, whether you're carrying for the first time at 65 or just tired of pretending your hands are still 25. Number 10, Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. Coming in at number 10 on our refreshed lineup is a pistol that blends daily carry practicality with real shootability. The Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. If you've ever tried the original Hellcat and thought, this thing is snappy, the Pro version feels like Springfield listened directly to that complaint and quietly said, watch this. It's just big enough to tame recoil, but still small enough to disappear under a t-shirt, which is exactly what makes it such a strong option for aging hands, weaker wrists, or anyone who's tired of compact guns kicking like a mule. The moment you fire it, the difference is obvious. The gun tracks flatter, it settles quicker, and it doesn't punish the shooter for every round put down range. That alone earns it a slot on this list. The Hellcat Pro measures about 6.5 inches long, stands roughly 4.8 inches tall, and stays right at 1 inch in width. Weight lands near 21 ounces unloaded, light enough to carry from breakfast to bedtime, but not so featherweight that it bucks hard under recoil. The 3.7-inch barrel gives a nice velocity bump and a longer sight radius, something shooters with aging eyes will absolutely feel. The adaptive grip texture locks into the hand without tearing skin. And with the optics-ready slide, you can throw on a microdot and avoid squinting at iron sights like you're decoding ancient hieroglyphs. It's modern, it's practical, and most importantly, it's comfortable. Where this pistol really shines for seniors or weak-handed shooters is consistency. Shots don't feel like a fight. Muzzle rise stays manageable, and you don't need a death grip just to keep the gun steady. The slide is easy enough to work without strain, controls are intuitive, and the 5-pound trigger brake is clean instead of heavy or gritty. You can shoot this thing for a long session and still leave the range smiling instead of flexing sore fingers. It carries 15 rounds standard, or 17 with the extended mag, giving legitimate defensive capability without forcing a larger frame. And for a pistol that retails in the mid-$600 range, you're getting a level of refinement that many competitors still haven't reached. The Hellcat Pro isn't the softest shooter in the world, and it won't replace a full-size gun for absolute comfort. But for concealed carry, especially for older shooters who want to stay in the fight without beating themselves up, this thing hits a sweet middle ground. Strong enough for real defense, smooth enough to run without pain, and compact enough to carry every single day. That's why it earns spot number 10. Number 9, Beretta 80X Cheetah. At number 9, we have a pistol built for shooters who want comfort first, recoil second, and style always. The Beretta 80X Cheetah. This is one of those guns you pick up and instantly feel at home with. It's smooth, balanced, and extremely soft shooting thanks to its 32 ACP chambering, which makes it a standout choice for seniors, shooters with weaker grip strength, or anyone who wants a gun that shoots like silk instead of smacking the hand every trigger press. The original Cheetah series already had a loyal following, but this modern 80X version brings better ergonomics, optic-ready capability, improved sights, and a refined trigger that feels clean every time it breaks. Size-wise, it sits right in the concealed carry comfort zone, around 6.5 inches long, roughly 5 inches tall, just over an inch wide, and about 25 ounces unloaded, which is heavy enough to keep recoil flat, but not enough to feel bulky on the hip. The 3.9-inch barrel gives a longer sight picture than most compacts, making accurate shooting easier, even for aging eyes. One of the biggest wins is the slide. It racks with very little resistance, meaning you don't need strong hands to chamber a round. That alone makes the 80X a lifesaver for shooters who struggle with stiff springs on modern Micro 9s. The trigger runs smooth in double action and crisp in single action, offering predictable control instead of a gritty pull. What really earns the Cheetah this spot is how effortless it is to shoot. The muzzle hardly rises, follow-up shots come naturally, and you can run multiple magazines without fatigue. The Vertex-style grip feels secure without being blocky, and recoil is more like a gentle push than a snap. Capacity sits at 12+1, impressive for such a soft shooter, and modern defensive .32 loads have made this caliber more capable than many people remember. It's not a powerhouse, but it's a gun you can control, hit with, and actually enjoy training with. Beretta even offers a factory conversion kit to swap between C32 and 380 ACP, giving flexibility based on recoil tolerance or ammo preference. Price typically lands near $600, which feels right for a metal-framed, optic-ready, smooth-running carry gun built with the charm only Beretta seems able to deliver. The 80X Cheetah isn't about brute force. It's about control, comfort, and confidence. For shooters who want less pain and more precision, it earns number 9 with ease. Number 8, Heckler Koch CC9. Standing at number 8, we have the Heckler Koch CC9, a compact 9mm built for everyday carry without the punishment that usually comes with small guns. HK designed this one in the US with a clear mission: make a carry pistol that stays light, slim, and comfortable while still shooting like a gun a size bigger. For seniors, shooters with weaker grip strength, or anyone tired of Micro 9 recoil, this balance is a big deal. The CC9 measures just over 6 inches long, around 4.5 inches tall, and stays under an inch wide, meaning it disappears inside the waistband or under a light cover garment. At about 18.5 ounces unloaded, it's light enough to carry dawn to bedtime, yet still heavy enough to soften recoil. The 3.3-inch cold hammer forged barrel holds accuracy well, and HK's reputation for quality means this thing is built to run for years. What puts the CC9 on this list is how easy it is to control. The grip angle helps the gun push straight back instead of flipping up sharply, so follow-up shots feel smooth and predictable. The trigger breaks around 5 pounds, clean, not gritty, which helps shooters with less hand strength hold sights steady without fighting resistance. Fully ambidextrous controls also make operation simple, no matter your hand dominance or mobility. HK didn't leave out modern carry needs either. The slide is optics ready right out of the box with an RMSC footprint, perfect for adding a red dot when iron sights become harder to see. Front serrations are deep enough to rack confidently, even with weaker hands, and the DLC-coated slide resists sweat, rust, and everyday wear. A tritium front sight gives a clear point of focus in low light, something real self-defense situations demand. For older shooters especially, the CC9 offers something valuable: real 9mm performance without abusive recoil. It's easy to shoot, stable under rapid fire, and confidence building rather than intimidating. Pricing usually lands around $700, not cheap, but absolutely in line with HK quality and longevity. It may not be the softest gun on this list, but for someone who still wants full-power 9mm in a frame that won't fight them, the CC9 earns its spot at number 8 with no argument. Number 7, Sig Sauer P365 XMacro. Number 7 on the list is the Sig Sauer P365 XMacro, and this one is for the people who want to stay with a full-power 9mm, but do not want a gun that feels tiny, twitchy, and hard to control. The XMacro is basically Sig looking at the original P365 and saying, What if we gave you duty gun performance in something you can still hide under a light shirt? For seniors, weaker hands, or anyone whose grip is not what it used to be, that idea matters a lot, because this pistol gives you real capacity and real performance without demanding iron wrists in return. The XMacro is about 6.6 inches long, a little over 5 inches tall, around 1.1 inches wide, and weighs about 21.5 ounces empty. That means it is bigger than the original micro versions. But that extra size is what makes it easier to shoot. The 3.1-inch barrel sits in an integrally compensated slide, with ports cut right into the top to vent gas and push the muzzle back down. In plain English, the gun flips less, tracks flatter, and lets you get back on target quicker. For an older shooter, that can be the difference between feeling rushed and feeling in control. Capacity is one of the big selling points. The 17+1 rounds in a pistol. This size is no joke, and it means fewer reloads and more peace of mind if your hands are slow, or reloading is harder than it used to be. The Flat X series trigger breaks at around 4 pounds with a short, clean reset, which helps you press without yanking the sights off target. The grip module uses interchangeable backstraps and aggressive texturing so you can tune the fit. And once it is set up for your hand, it tends to lock in place without needing a crushing grip. SIG did not forget modern features either. The slide is optics ready for small RMSC footprint red dots, and it ships with bright X-ray 3 night sights, so you can actually see what you are aiming at in low light. There is a full-length accessory rail if you want a light, and the nitron finished stainless slide with a polymer frame keeps weight down while staying durable. On the downside, the price usually hovers around $700. The compensator ports need occasional cleaning, the grip texture can feel harsh on very sensitive skin, and you are locked into SIG pattern magazines. Even with those trade-offs, for shooters who can handle a bit more size in exchange for softer recoil, easier control, and huge capacity, the P365 XMacro earns its place at number 7. Number 6. Beretta 20X Bobcat. Number 6 goes to the Beretta 20X Bobcat, a pistol that exists for one very real purpose: making concealed carry accessible for hands that struggle with strength. This is a tiny 22 LR with one of the easiest loading systems in the handgun world. Instead of racking the slide, you push a button, the barrel tips up, you drop a round in, close it, and you're ready. For shooters with arthritis, limited thumb strength, or wrists that just aren't what they used to be, that feature alone makes the Bobcat one of the most approachable handguns you can buy. The 20X is extremely compact. It's around 5.9 inches long, roughly 4.5 inches tall, and weighs just over 14 ounces. That's lighter than many smartphones, and it disappears in a pocket without effort. But what makes it special isn't how easy it is to carry. It's how gentle it is to shoot. A22 has almost no recoil, meaning older shooters can train longer, practice more comfortably, and place shots exactly where they want without fighting muzzle flip or pain. Accuracy matters more than power, if power is too uncomfortable to use consistently. Beretta didn't simply revive an old design, they improved it. The trigger is cleaner than its predecessors. The new Hellcat-style grip texture adds control without irritation. And the option for a threaded barrel allows suppressed shooting that feels unbelievably soft and quiet. This is the type of gun someone can run even with fragile hands, shaky grip strength, or very low tolerance for recoil. You're getting 8+1 capacity and reliability that, when paired with quality, .22 defensive ammo becomes far more practical than many give it credit for. Of course, .22 LR will always spark debate for self-defense. But here's the truth. A gun someone can operate confidently is always better than one they physically cannot manage. Many shooters stop carrying because slide tension or recoil becomes too painful. The Bobcat solves that problem. It removes barriers, keeps shooters active, and makes carrying feel possible again. Even when strength fades with age, street price usually lands around $450 to $500, depending on whether you want the threaded version. For that cost, you're getting a metal frame Beretta built specifically for comfort, simplicity, and approachability. If pain or weakness limits what you can shoot, the 20X Bobcat may be one of the most empowering firearms you could choose. Number 5. Smith & Wesson, Model 36. Classic number 5 goes to a revolver that brings old-school soul into the modern carry world, the Smith & Wesson Model 36 Classic, no lock, no nonsense. This gun looks like it came straight out of 1955. Polished blue steel, case-colored hammer and trigger, real walnut grips with the S&W medallion. It's nostalgia with purpose, and for seniors or shooters who want something simple with no slide to rack, it makes a whole lot of sense. The Model 36 stays compact and true to its original form. Barrel length sits just under 2 inches, overall size just past 6 inches, and thickness around 1.3 across the cylinder. At roughly 19.5 ounces, it's light enough to carry comfortably, but heavy enough to tame. 38 recoil better than the super light snubs that slap your palm. It holds 5 rounds of .38 Special and is plus P rated, giving real defensive capability without overwhelming the shooter. One of the biggest reasons this revolver works so well for aging hands is the trigger. The double action pull is smooth and steady instead of gritty, while single action breaks clean around 3.5 pounds. You don't need perfect finger strength or speed to run it well. At typical defensive distances, the fixed trench rear sight and ramp front sight are fast, intuitive, and easy to index. No tiny dots to hunt for, no complicated sight picture. Recoil is manageable and even comfortable with standard pressure loads like wad cutters. The steel frame absorbs energy instead of passing the shock into your wrist, making longer practice sessions realistic for shooters who can't handle punishing recoil anymore. Even with hotter plus P ammo, control remains reasonable because the gun has real mass and balance. It feels stable instead of jumpy, something many small revolvers fail to achieve. Reliability is about as simple as it gets. No magazines, no slide tension, no feed issues. If you can close the cylinder and press the trigger, the gun is ready. For people whose hand strength has declined or who don't want to worry about malfunction drills, that simplicity is confidence building. Price usually sits around the mid-$800 range. Not cheap, but you're buying a brand new version of a revolver that generations trusted. For shooters who value tradition, mechanical certainty, and effortless operation, the Smith & Wesson Model 36 Classic earns its place at number 5 with timeless authority. Number 4. EAA Girsan MC14T X. At number 4, we've got one of the smartest I'm done fighting slides guns on the market, the EAA Girsan MC14T X in 380 ACP. This pistol is built around a tip-up barrel system, which means you don't have to rack the slide to load it. You press a lever, the barrel flips up, you drop a round in, close it, and you're ready to go. For seniors, shooters with arthritis, or anyone whose grip strength has dropped over the years, that single feature can be the difference between carrying confidently and not carrying at all. Size-wise, the MC14T X hits a very friendly concealed carry profile. It's a compact pistol that's easy to holster, easy to draw, and light enough to wear all day without feeling like a weight on your belt. Unloaded, it comes in around the low 20-ounce range, which is enough mass to tame 380 recoil, but not so heavy that it drags your pants down. The real magic is in how it shoots. 380 in this platform feels soft, controlled, and surprisingly flat, especially compared to tiny polymer pocket guns that like to snap and twist in your hand. Capacity is another big win here. You get 13 plus 1 rounds of .380, which puts it right in line with many compact 9mm pistols in terms of onboard firepower, but with noticeably gentler recoil. That's a huge deal if your hands are sensitive or you fatigue quickly. The double action, single action trigger setup gives you a heavier first pull for safety, then a lighter, crisp single action break for fast follow-up shots. Controls are ambidextrous. The mag release is placed right where your thumb expects it, and the overall layout feels familiar, even if this is your first tip-up design. The X version steps things up with true modern features. You get a spiral fluted threaded barrel that's ready for a suppressor or compensator, an optics-ready slide for mounting a small red dot, and tall, easy-to-see sights that co-witness with many micro-optics. That means aging eyes don't have to fight tiny irons anymore. You can just put the dot where you want the round to go. Recoil stays mild even when you run hotter defensive loads, and the gun tends to track straight instead of jumping around. Street price usually sits around the $500 mark, often a little below, which is impressive for a pistol that brings together a tip-up system, good capacity, modern optics capability, and truly senior-friendly operation. If racking a slide has become a painful chore or flat-out impossible, but you still want something more serious than a rimfire, the Girsan MC14T X offers one of the most thoughtful solutions on the market. That's why it solidly earns the number 4 spot on this list. Number 3. Ruger LCP Max. Taking the number 3 spot is the Ruger LCP Max, a pistol built for deep concealment and everyday carry without effort. This thing is tiny, truly pocket-sized, yet it manages to hold real capacity and stay shootable in a way early LCP models never quite achieved. If you want something that's light enough to forget you're even carrying, or if you're a senior who needs a gun that doesn't pull your waistband down or weigh on your hip all day, the LCP Max is one of the easiest solutions available. The original LCP was famous for size, but let's be honest, it was snappy, hard to grip, and not super fun to shoot. The Max changes that story. Ruger widened the grip just enough to improve control, refine the ergonomics, upgraded the trigger, and, the big one, bumped capacity all the way up to 10+1 standard or 12+1 with an extended magazine. That means you're getting meaningful round count in a gun that still disappears into a pocket holster, ankle rig, purse, belly band, you name it. The gun measures just over 5 inches long, around 4 inches tall, less than an inch wide, and weighs a feather-like 10.6 ounces unloaded. That weight is the magic for older carriers. No fatigue, no pressure points, no heavy belt setups. It's the kind of pistol you carry without thinking, which means you're more likely to actually have it when you need it. Recoil in 380 ACP is still there. You'll feel it because the gun is small, but it's noticeably more manageable than most Ultra Mini 9mm. Add the improved grip texture and slightly larger surface area, and follow-up shots feel far more controlled than earlier LCP generations. The LCP Max also brings better sighting than most pocket pistols. Ruger gives you a tritium front sight with a bright white outline, plus a drift-adjustable rear, so older eyes can pick up the target faster instead of fighting tiny black notches. The trigger breaks around 6 pounds with a smooth take-up that doesn't surprise or jerk, which helps maintain accuracy even when hands aren't the strongest or steadiest anymore. This pistol isn't meant to be a range comfort king, it's meant to be carried. At an MSRP in the upper 300 range, usually under $400 on the street, it's one of the best balance points between affordability, capacity, and concealability. If a lightweight .380 is what keeps you armed without pain or fatigue, the Ruger LCP Max absolutely earns its place at number 3, the little gun that gets carried when bigger guns get left at home. Number 2, Smith & Wesson Equalizer. Number 2 belongs to the Smith & Wesson Equalizer, a pistol built specifically for people who want real 9mm performance without the struggle that usually comes with it. Think of it as a shield that went to finishing school. Same concept, but easier, softer, more forgiving, and genuinely designed for shooters who don't have the hand strength they used to. For seniors, arthritic fingers, or anyone who ever winced when racking a slide, the Equalizer feels like someone finally listened. The size is just right for control and concealment. It measures around 7.9 inches long, with a 3.675-inch barrel, stands just over 5 inches tall, and is roughly 1.1 inches wide. At about 23 ounces, it sits sweetly between too light and too heavy. Enough weight to dampen recoil, not so much that it drags during daily carry. In hand, it fills the grip naturally, rather than forcing fingers to stretch or strain. But the magic everyone talks about is the slide. Smith & Wesson tuned the recoil spring to be exceptionally light and paired it with deep serrations. So, racking this slide feels almost effortless. Many shooters can run it between finger and thumb without pain. That alone earns applause from older carriers who've given up on stiff modern 9mm. The internal hammer single-action trigger breaks around 4.5 pounds with a crisp wall and short reset, giving you accuracy without needing brute strength behind the trigger press. And just like any modern defensive pistol should, the Equalizer comes optic ready for RMSC pattern dots, includes 3 magazines of different capacities, and even ships with a mag loader, so you don't wreck your thumbs topping off magazines. There's a small accessory rail for a light, a grip safety that adds peace of mind without complication, and recoil that genuinely feels closer to warm .380 than traditional 9mm. That softer impulse makes longer practice sessions realistic instead of painful. Street pricing usually falls around the mid $400 mark, an outstanding value considering how user-friendly it is. If you want a 9mm, you can operate easily even as your strength fades, or you simply refuse to carry something that fights you. The Smith & Wesson Equalizer stands tall at number 2 for all the right reasons. Number 1. Glock 43X MOS. Taking the number 1 spot is the Glock 43X MOS, the pistol that quietly became the default answer for a whole lot of Americans who carry every single day. It is slim, light, simple, and incredibly reliable. And for seniors or anyone with weaker hands, that combination matters more than flashy features or wild calibers. This is the gun you pick when you want something you can actually live with, not just admire at the gun counter. Size-wise, the 43X MOS hits a very comfortable middle ground. Overall length is about 6.5 inch. Height right around 5.04 inch with the standard magazine. And the slide is only about 1.10 inch wide, with the grip even a bit thinner. Unloaded weight is just under 19 ounce, and fully loaded, it still stays in the low 20 ounce range. That means it disappears under a t-shirt, rides light on the belt, and never feels like a burden to carry all day, which is huge if your back, hips, or shoulders complain about heavy gear, the way many do as we age. What keeps this gun on top is how familiar and predictable it feels. The Glock Marksman barrel, at about 3.41 inch, gives better accuracy than most people expect from a slim carry pistol. And the sight radius makes steady hits out to realistic defensive distances very doable. The trigger is classic Glock, consistent, short take-up, clean break, and a reset that is easy to feel and hear. It is not a match trigger, but it is extremely repeatable, which is exactly what nervous, shaky hands need when stress hits. Recoil with standard pressure. 9mm is snappy, but very manageable. And with good technique, most shooters, even older ones, can run fast pairs without losing control. The MOS part is a big deal too. The slide comes cut from the factory for small RMSC footprint optics. So, when iron sights get harder to see, you can bolt on a red dot and keep running. Factory night sights or upgraded sights are easy to add. And the front and rear serrations give just enough bite to rack the slide without needing a crushing grip. Standard capacity is 10+1, but with popular aftermarket 15-round magazines, you can get service pistol capacity in a gun that still carries like a single stack. Another reason this lands at number 1 is support. Holsters, sights, magazines, parts, training, everybody knows Glock. If you ever need help, almost any instructor or gunsmith understands this platform inside and out. Street price usually sits in the mid-500 range, which is fair for a pistol that has become a proven workhorse. For seniors, weaker hands, or anyone who wants something thin, light, simple, and trusted, the Glock 43X MOS is hard to argue with. And that is why it owns the top spot on this list. And that brings us to the end of the list. Getting older, losing grip strength, or dealing with stiff joints doesn't mean stepping away from self-defense. It just means choosing the right tool instead of fighting the wrong one. Every gun here earns its spot, not because it's the most powerful or most modern, but because it's actually shootable for real people. Easy slides, soft recoil, cleaner triggers, and designs that work even when hands aren't what they used to be. Whether you like low kick calibers, easy loading systems, or full power 9mm with friendly handling, there's something here that lets you stay confident and capable without pain or frustration. Your hands matter, your comfort matters. And the gun you enjoy practicing with is the gun you'll trust when it counts. If one of these stood out, let me know which you'd carry. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more breakdowns just like this. Stay sharp, stay safe, and keep training at a pace your hands will thank you for.